Very well done there by NightMare as he moves on to the next round.
Yeah, well, he will be facing the player who we thought he would be facing, and in another rematch from ESL Open Cup Asia, Americas. So in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our blue Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing Onside Gaming, OSG. Our first player, not from Abydos. He is NightMare, Solar Battle.
Okay, yeah, it's okay.
Abydos. And my brain automatically queued it up. What's it called? Auto-filled export.
You're on autopilot
Predictive
a little
text.
bit. It's okay, yeah. The Google autofill. Yeah. As spawning, I've been there before. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Altitude, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos. He just took down Creator. It is NightMare.
My brain is an algorithm.
I do that a lot with, I've even said it already this broadcast, where it's like, oh my god, it's a third CC, or it's a third Nexus. I'm so used, my brain is so used to saying 3CC because of, like, the opener, like.
Yeah. And we've never seen a Protoss player go higher than 2 bases. Come on. Like, has anybody seen that?
True. That's what happens when you cast too much StarCraft.
All blends together. Eventually, eventually you'll be like, ah, yes, the Eventually, you stop mixing up players. Is what I was getting at. But
there you go.
I realized that 1, I already do that, and 2, there's the yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason why. Here's a behind the scenes tip. There are some casters, some of the more premier casters, where whenever they go on like long marathons, they stop stop saying the unit name necessarily for the workers. They say worker, or they say harvester, right? They don't say like drone or SCV or probe, like, because
just worker.
It's all
Town
just
hall,
like
building.
True. Bases instead of hatchery, CC, or Nexus. Like, it's just a way to cover yourself while like
Infantry.
using less like brain processing power.
Yeah, it makes sense, Yeah. Bio works out.
Yeah.
It works out in well, I was gonna say it works out in all 3 matchups, but then I realized that there are some gateway units that are mechanical.
So good. But here we go, we do have our fresh series, and as you said, this is another rematch. So for those who weren't here for ESL Americas last week, NightMare went all the way to the finals. In the quarterfinals, he took down Solar, and in the semifinals, he took down Creator. And now he's looking to do the same in reverse. Unfortunately, we did cast the PvP last week, but we didn't cast NightMare vs Solar. We weren't able to see how he brought down one of the best Zergs in Korea, and I want to see what he has to offer here.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought you were just gonna stop at. Unfortunately, we casted PvP. But yeah, I'm curious to see what goes on here. Again, when I think of NightMare, I do think of that player who has 1,001 builds to really catch his opponents off guard. But I can definitely, based on what we've seen so far, I can definitely see NightMare pulling ahead off the back of like really good positional play and just winning these engagements.
Oh yeah,
and of course having the macro to sustain those engagements.
I mean, man, I wouldn't be surprised if he like 6K Glaive Adept solo last week. Like,
yeah,
we saw it against Mondo. We did see it against Mondo, but here on Altitude, the largest map in the map pool, I'm a little bit shocked that we found ourselves here. We do have a Stargate opener. We're going into double Oracle. I'm curious if we're going to throw down a Forge. I'm curious if this is once again going to be that build where we go double Oracle into Glaives, not into Blink.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's a lot more standard to see Blink coming out from the Protoss player as opposed to Glaives. The typical response to that would be making a ton of Lings, but if you're good enough at microing your units, and if you don't... and there are definitely a couple of positions here that you can take advantage of where you can avoid getting surrounded by Lings. Yeah, it's something that can have a lot of success here for the Protoss player. And there we go. Blink is immediately on the way. Solar follows this up with +1 melee upzone.
Yeah, there we go. So Solar has guessed correctly. +1 melee is going to be amazing against Blink Stalkers. So a great tech of choice here from Solar. Meanwhile, his opponent, NightMare, is looking to be a little bit more committed. The reason why I say that is because there's no Forge. Typically, we have a Forge alongside the Twilight Counter for upgrades. Instead, we're going into a Gateway Explosion. It looks like NightMare wants to push out with Blink Stalkers as soon as possible.
7-gate Blink. This is so committed coming out here from NightMare. Obviously, without the Robo Facility, we're not gonna have a Warp Prism, which is a little bit worrisome on a map like Altitude. It's gonna be a lot more difficult to just walk across the map with pure stalkers.
And that's why we got the probe, but the probe is... Oh no! No! We have to protect the probe! It's designed to throw down the pylon and to throw down the proxy gateway as well. Oh god!
Probe! Get down, Mr. Probe! Well, Mr. Probe did go down in the end, and so will this warping in pylon. NightMare is gonna have to go with Plan B, which is to make this Robo Facility wait a long time for a Warp Prism to get ready, and then push out. Solar, on the other hand, he's well aware of NightMare's intentions at this point. He's getting ready back at home. +1 melee about to finish up, and he has stopped droning at 63 workers. He knows right now he needs to be making nothing but army to defend.
Honestly, NightMare's in a really rough position right now because, again, as you mentioned, that Robo and the Forge that's being thrown down right now, these are not the ideal timings for them. They are so delayed because he never intended to throw them down. He wanted to be in the face of Solar with nothing but Blink Stalkers, and he had to switch his plans. He's going for a 4th base, but Solar is getting ready with his own army, and NightMare, he just may be overwhelmed.
Yeah, Solar even has enough supply to split up a little bit of a run-by of Lynx here. Catches a probe, almost breaks into the natural base, and more importantly, further delays the push out here from NightMare.
Yeah, exactly. Again, NightMare, he is teching right now. Instead, he's going into double Robo production, into double Disruptor, or even double Colossi instead. Solar is actually droning, though. So initially, it seemed like Solar was going to go for his own massive counter-aggression, but it looks like he was just making these defensively and is getting ready for a later game.
Yeah, later game, which I'm not sure is going to happen, considering how powerful Solar's army is right now. He's going immediately across the map to try to punish the lack of economy here from NightMare. This is exactly why you want to have a lot of Lings with melee upgrades to deal with Blink Stalkers, because they can't blink back far enough. They still get surrounded in the end. There
you go. The Stalkers, they go down. The Overcharge runs out as well. We do have a couple of Immortals on the way. We do have a soon-to-be Colossi, but again, it's too late for that. Solar is already here, and NightMare is crumbling.
Surprisingly, he hasn't lost a wait, no. He's lost a lot of probes. We just don't have game art. Never mind.
It's crazy. He hasn't lost anything. There's no counter.
He's not even drone drilling. What? Wait, what happened to the probes? They didn't die. They didn't say they died. GG is called, and Solar takes game number 1 with a very strong counterattack.
GG, well played. Again, it all came down to that one VIP probe. Wasn't able to be protected by NightMare. He wasn't able to save him in the end, and that just completely changed everything.
Yeah, you gotta protect your VIPs. When they go down, it's pure chaos, as we saw about a week ago.
Yeah.
When I had to do production.
Oh, feels okay, Pop. Feels okay. Don't worry about it. As we are going to be diving into game number 2, which will be taking place on Royal Blood.
Indeed it shall. As I didn't even realize it, but we're already in the quarterfinals.
Oh my god. Oh boy, yeah, we are just blazing through this here. Do we have a semifinals match ready for us? I don't believe we do. Not yet.
Not just yet. Yeah, not just yet by the looks of things. Oliver and Classic are currently duking it out. I believe on Setfast's channel. I could be wrong there, but I do know that Setfast and Wardy are also casting. So, yeah, winner of that will be facing the winner of this, and we could figure out the winner of this right now on this map, as in the bottom left-hand corner map, swatting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have our blue Zerg player who is currently up 1-0 in this best-of-3 quarterfinals. He is, of course, going to be representing Onside Gaming, OSG. He's got his Carbotling in his Kespa Cup. He is Solar.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos. It is NightMare.
Probably put a disclaimer that I have no idea if that trophy of Solars is actually a Kesper Cup. I don't believe he's actually won one.
I don't think he's won.
Think about it. He's
yeah.
Just saw a cup and I was like, wait, what's a cup?
He has won an IEM before, and maybe. I don't think the IEMs had cups though. I know Katowice does, but I don't think the older like IEM, like Sao Paulo and stuff like that. I don't think they.
That's they have more of like a rod trophy.
Yeah, like a vertical trophy.
Yeah. No, SSL was a star.
The DreamHack was the star. I actually don't remember what the SSL trophy looked like.
The SSL trophy was like a star as well. Right?
Okay.
Could be wrong.
I like to think so. As we are getting into this game, standard openers all around here. Nothing too crazy, just the unnatural. Natural being forced out, and NightMare just trying to be as annoying with this probe as possible.
Yeah, doing the standard Protoss things, trying to mess up the mining a little bit, trying to just zap the drones here and there, tase them when you can,
subdue them.
I've been told they don't like that being electrocuted.
We
haven't tested it out though.
Oh yeah.
I might have to it one day.
Yeah, as NightMare here in game 2 is not gonna be diverting to a Twilight Council opener like we saw against Mondo. No, he's sticking to his guns, sticking with the Stargate.
Yeah, we'll see if he decides to stick with double Oracle Blink this time, though, or if he decides to go for something a little bit more aggressive, go for something a little bit more dedicated with Glaive to Depths instead. I say dedicated, but he was very dedicated that last game with his 7-gate Blink. It just didn't work out for him. Because he didn't have a pylon. Yeah,
he couldn't reinforce, so like he kind of was cut off at the legs before he could really get going, before he could really take off. Meanwhile, we do see these two adepts slipping in towards the third base, and drones are falling.
They are? They are! 4 drones have gone down, as once again, we don't have Game Heart.
It's all good, but we can
and
count.
That's a pretty good damage. Only two adepts.
Yeah, really good damage. Kind of catching Solar asleep at the wheel there. Didn't quite have any Lings or enough Lings to really defend his bases. So very nicely done. At the same time, the Lings, they're actually across the map instead. They do get 1 probe and a full scout of the main.
Worf. So our Lings try to bully these buildings down, as Solar confirms it is just going to be a single Oracle and with a Twilight Council follow-up. So Glaives is definitely a huge possibility here for NightMare.
Yeah, this is a really big scout. So Solar, he confirms the delayed third base, and he confirms the tech follow-up as well. This screams Glaive Adepts, and Solar should soon be cutting workers at around 40 and throwing down a Roach Warren or a Bailey Nest, one or the other. He needs something.
Yeah, he's throwing down Spore Crawlers right now, which is a way to be safe of Oracles and potentially DTs as well, but I'm with you, Light. I'm a little bit worried that Solar is continuing to drone instead of throwing down more tech.
Yeah, and to be fair, these Glaive Adepts are going to hit a little bit later, just because it's not a Twilight Council opener, it's a Stargate opener, and there we go, Roach Warren just now gets thrown down. This is going to be a tight hold. Adepts are being warped in back at home. Is Solar going to be able to get away with cutting those corners and delaying that Roach Warren? Up.
Well, we're about to find out, as Glaives is about halfway to finish up here. If this works out for Solar, then he's basically won the game immediately. He will be very far ahead.
Yeah.
He will be, and he'll have those roaches and lings go for a full-on counterattack. But like you said, he needs to make sure that he is 100% on point with his defense. If he slips up even once, this could just be the end of game number 2, which would deliver us an ace match. So yeah, maybe not the worst outcome for us viewers.
True, true. Especially us casters as well. As here we go, the Adepts looking to shade in towards a natural base. Roaches, 8 roaches are in production as we speak. The Adepts will commit to the shade and are making their way into the main, but oh, they're gonna get surrounded.
Yeah, the lings were all ready here to pounce on them. And we see with purely lings and queens, 4 of them already go down. The roaches are now out, but it's still a little bit far away from this very vulnerable mineral line.
Yeah, and here we go. 4 more drones that do go down here, 8 in total, and that wasn't too bad damage. We can see that the Adepts survive. They're racing back home, and NightMare is attempting to transition, and we do have that blink on the way.
Yeah, honestly, it was a surprisingly non-committed glaive push here from NightMare.
Yeah, it was only 4 gateways, but he didn't go for a massive warp-in. He only sent 8 Adepts across the map. Didn't wait for another warp-in or anything like that. He is, again, looking to transition, was just looking to cripple the economy a little bit, and he did.
Yeah. Kind of. He prevented a 4th base from coming out here from... It may have only been 4 drones going down in the end, but it also... You also have to couple that with the fact that Solar stopped making drones after a certain point. He delayed his own 4th hatchery for quite some time as well, so all in all, yeah, NightMare finds himself on roughly equal footing to his Zerg opponent.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's only down 2 workers compared to Solar. Again, Solar was forced to make all these roaches that he can't really do too much with, not yet. But roach speed is about to kick in, and that means Solar can be active on the map. We can already see him catching some of these Adepts here in the center as well. The creep spread is looking pretty impressive. We do have a revelation, so we have eyes on the army. NightMare is looking to reposition and meet up with these roaches.
And that's exactly what Solar wants right now. To be able to defend once again against these onslaught of blink stalkers. You see a massive wave of lings coming down, and he wants to go for the counterattack pretty much immediately afterwards, just like in game number 1.
Yeah, exactly. We do see, once again, NightMare was slipping up a little bit there with the control. He lost a couple of his stalkers, wasn't quite paying attention at the time, and Solar does trade relatively well, and he's got more lings on the way, and roaches. Solar, he's cutting drones here at 66.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. Solar is just waiting to hit his final form. He is waiting for +1 range to finish up here, as well as another round of lings before really going across the map. NightMare is attempting to transition out now. He has just finished up his 4th Nexus and will be researching charge, but I don't think Solar wants to give him that time.
Yeah, here we go. Solar is rushing across the map with everything he has. I do appreciate that we have an Oracle on the way, so we're going to try and rebuild that. That's going to be so key here in the defense to help deal with all these lings as Solar is rushing in towards a 3rd.
Yeah, 3rd, where they're already to full energy, or might as well be full energy, Oracles and the rest of the Gateway army to meet them. Solar realizes, I cannot push into that, but I can distract the army while I set up for a Baneling run by.
Oh, exactly. Banelings are on the way on the front lines and behind the army as well. So far, good trades by NightMare, but can he hold on to that mineral line? Can he react in time?
I doubt it. The Sim City doesn't work out too well for him either here. A massive bunch of probes go down, just about half of them here in the natural base, and Solar has completely bypassed the rest of the army. NightMare wants to go for a full-on base trade, which isn't the worst idea, but we'll see if that works out for him. The entire mineral line goes down to Banelings, and Solar decides to go back home, try to defend.
I mean, Solar, he has crippled the economy here of NightMare. The mineral lines have gone down both of the 3rd and the 4th base, and now NightMare is all in. He finds a Roach War, and he finds a lot of Overlords as well, but he needs more damage.
I was going to say, taking out the Roach Warren is a good pickoff, but that's not really unit that Solar has to worry about right now. It is, of course, going to be the Lings, the Banelings coming his way. A massive crash of Banelings will take out just about half the Stalkers. Not the most efficient trade, but a trade that Solar can afford.
Yeah, it really is. Meanwhile, the Oracles are going to town as well. On the mineral line, the Stalkers are trying to get the hell out of there. The Lings and Banelings have been cleaned up. Only Roaches are remaining. But Solar, even though he lost that Roach Warren, can still make Lings.
This game went from 0 to 100 on the chaotic scale in the blink of an eye. Once those Banelings crashed into the mineral line, that's when everybody just ramped it up.
Yeah,
both of our players just ramped everything up.
No holds bar, mate. The shirts are off, Papi, and now we're getting down and dirty with his Solar. He's looking to reinforce. He wants to try and break that third base once again, but this time we have a lot of Stalkers. This time we have 4 Oracles as well. They move out. They're not at home to defend.
And as a result, Solar's going to get quite a few pickoffs here. Now, NightMare has been able to stabilize his economy quite a bit, and fighting in this within range of battery overcharge is definitely questionable right now for Solar.
Yeah, but you know what? The DPS from these Roaches is just too damn high. The Oracles are coming on in, raining down their Pulsar beam on top of the Zerg army, and it looks like NightMare is going to hold.
Just barely, or is he? Yeah, with this Warpint of Stalkers, he is just barely going to hold. Solar has not dealt any economic damage. In fact, he's taking economic damage back home.
Oh yeah, a couple of adepts did slip out across the map, and almost 30 workers, 38 drones have gone down this entire game. Solar is going to be struggling here. His economy is in shambles. He's trying to rebuild his army, but what's he going to do? There are just so many Oracles, so many Stalkers, but they are out of energy.
They are out of energy. It's kind of dead supply at this point, but as long as they're able to rebuild that energy, that's gonna force Solar to be on the timer. Warpin of Glaive, the depths will come in as well. GG is called. NightMare ties up our series 1-1.
Wow, GG, well played. We do have that tied up series. We're going to the ace match.
Oh.
Let's go.
Like I said, not the worst outcome here for us viewers.
Exactly. Solar kind of forced the all-in from his opponents, but we did see NightMare handling that situation quite well, doing a lot of damage in his own counterattack. As we get into this, and we are tied up 1-1.
We are tied up 1-1, and we have an opponent in the next round. I am
Is it your boy?
I'm at two minds of this. I'm on 2 minds of this because on the one hand, I am glad that my boy is waiting in the next round, but on the other hand, that means we're not going to cast a Terra player for a while. Classic took out Oliveira 2-0, and will be facing the winner of this match in the semifinals. And with that, we are going to try to figure out who exactly is going to meet him there, if we're getting a mirror or non-mirror. Over here in the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner, we of course have our blue Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He's going to be representing On-Side Gaming, OSG. We have Solar B.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Babylon, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos. It is NightMare.
We can kind of count, chat.
Yeah.
We can we can count a bit.
It's all good, Bobby. It's all good. Here we go. So the ace match is upon us. Solar kind of forcing NightMare's hand, and NightMare being more than willing to go for the aggressive move and go for the base trade. Kind of funny how in the end there, the Glaive Adepts even had a place in the game just to help support and help deal with
right at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Solar tapped out once he saw the Glaive Adepts right at the end there. Mm-hmm. He knew that he could only produce Lings at that point, and when he realized that NightMare actually had enough of an economy to make the anti-Ling unit, he had to tap out. He recognized that his time was up, and he has to, and he would rather get ready and come up with a plan here for game number 3 already.
Yeah, exactly. And how will this all turn out again? I'm very impressed and surprised that NightMare has been able to force the ace match here 2 weeks in a row. Last week he did come out on top against Solar. Can he do it again? It would be a really insane result, and it would bode well for him in the semis, because you mentioned it, Classic is waiting for him, and NightMare, he's all about that PvP. He would prefer a Protoss player, I imagine.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Classic, of course, has shown a lot of proficiency in the PvT and PvZ matchup, but in PvP, slipped a little bit. And like you mentioned, NightMare, he is that PvP sniper. He took out Trap and Zest in the same tournament when both of them were at their prime back in 2020, 2021, even 2019, I think.
Yeah. Exactly. NightMare is not wanted to be taken lightly, but here we go. We do commit to the shade. We're just going to be harassing a little bit, poking wherever we can. NightMare once again going for a Stargate opener, but as we've seen, in the hands of NightMare, this doesn't necessarily mean a standard play.
Yeah. We could have 1 Oracle. We could have 2 Oracles. We could have... I may have lied when I said I could count myself to 2.
I don't know if NightMare is willing to go up to a 3 Oracle opener, mate. That's crazy. As the Adepts do go in, they commit, but they are going to be cleaned up. Oh.
Yeah, no drones going down just yet. 1 drone going down just yet. I was wondering. One drone going down.
Very nice. Very nice pickups. We had some really quick Spore Crawler tricks there by Solar, but he did lose 1 drone in the end. And we're not done. We do have a second Oracle coming up behind this. Sorry, first Oracle coming up behind this. We don't have our second on the way. Oh, just a little bit supply blocked.
Yeah, going to be much more standard coming out from NightMare this time, which could bode well for Solar. I'm trying to remember game number 1. It did open up the same way here with NightMare going double Oracle and then eventually Blink, but that was also far from a normal macro game coming out from NightMare. It was a normal opening, but he wanted to be aggressive right off the bat. So, yeah, we'll see if NightMare decides to go for the same thing, which it looks like he is that as a Forge and a Twilight Council being thrown down at the same time.
Yeah, this is the most standard opener we've seen from NightMare, because if you remember, even in game 1 when he went for the 7-gate Blink kind of all in, there was no Forge with it, right? Like, he had no longevity with his army, and likewise last game he went for a Glaive Adept follow-up. So this is looking quite normal out of NightMare, which is, you know, maybe gonna catch Solar off guard. You know, it's crazy. He's not crazy.
That's insane.
Here we go. It's 4 Adepts who shaded in, but no Lings are waiting for them, and they're going to be able to get surrounded. But the Oracles, they come in to support.
They do come in to support, but it does draw them closer to Queens. 1 Oracle already goes down, and the rest of the Adepts go down with it.
And not the best use of our early game units here by NightMare. That is going to mean his third base is going to be a little bit more exposed. And there we go. Solar is rushing across the map to try and abuse this third. But we do have 2 Stalkers in position. NightMare, he's safe.
For now. Okay, he's safe. He's safe for now, and he's safe for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, from here, we have that +1. We got Blink. We'll keep an eye on the gateway counts, but it's not looking too high. So it looks like NightMare may be going into a faster Robo follow-up. Well, as I say that, a couple more gates are thrown down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Blink follow-up is coming out here from NightMare. Gonna have +1 of this, like you mentioned. So, yeah, he still has the potential to go for a very potent timing, but he's also giving himself enough flexibility to let the game continue if this fails. 1 Ewok. Jamming.
I didn't even notice the Ewok on top of the rock. But yeah, it is jamming because we have spotted the Dropper Lord coming in here from Solar. He's going to be going in towards the main base. Meanwhile, here we go. We have a couple of pylons being thrown down, a gateway as well. This time, we're going to be able to pull off this insane push here just purely off of Blink Stalkers from NightMare.
And we'll see if Solo is going to be able to defend against this. He's trying to distract the army a little bit. As that drop alert goes in. Roaches are coming in from the north, which can soak up quite a bit of damage here against these Stalkers, but they're not the best unit to counter. Thankfully, we do have a bunch of Queens here, and they are able to throw down their transfuses. Probes are falling left and right, and NightMare is now all in.
Oh my god, a very late reaction here at the natural. NightMare, he lost almost the entire mineral line to these Lings. The Drop Lord is the MVP, and now NightMare is that much more committed. He has to make this push work. He has to try to somehow do some counter damage, but Solar is waiting with his roaches.
He's setting up a bit of a concave here. I like this from Solar. He's not necessarily setting up any surrounds or anything like that with his Lings. He made a couple of Lings just to go for these counterattacks. Because he knows that if he can... Oh! I was going to say, if he can bait NightMare into pushing into him, he's going to have a great defensive position, but not if he ignores the stasis ward that was building right on top of him. That gives NightMare such a humongous opening.
Yeah, he's on a timer there right now. We do see the stasis trap is about to run out. NightMare is gaining ground. He's killing Queens. He's killing Roaches. But here we go. The stasis has run out, and the Roaches are coming in.
Roaches are coming in for a full surround. I wanted to believe, Light. That was... I don't think I've ever used the word humongous before, but that was beautiful, but it wasn't gonna be enough. GG is called. Solar will defend and take that series 2-1. And off the back of those 3 games, even though he lost it in the end, I could see how NightMare took out Solar last week. That was way closer than I think a lot of people, myself included, thought that it would be. Solar has it on quite a tear, but that was... And that tear did continue tonight, but... Oh man, the clutch moves coming out from NightMare. I wanted to believe he would take it in the end here, Light. I really did.
I wanted to believe as well. Like, that stasis trap was insane. Again, if it wasn't for the Dropper Lord, then he would have been fine. I mean, that's the problem, right? The Lings really did wreak a lot of havoc in the natural base and the main base of NightMare, and he was losing so many workers. He went down to 44 probes, down more than 20 workers compared to Solar. And that doesn't just mean that he doesn't have any longevity, but it means that he can't warp in aggressively across the map. It means that he can't make as many Stalkers. His push was being slowed down, and Solar was able to defend. It was a close hold, but a hold nonetheless.
Yeah, very, very close hold.